Live and welcome to the show. Tonight I've got, I'm sure you all know him, Simon, Captain Coily. Welcome, Simon.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I need to remember to keep back from the camera because I know
you are quite close.
Too close.
I need to keep back, but that's a
I like to
thing.
get close.
I've got, I've told you earlier, but for those of you in chat that don't know, I've had dreadful toothache since last Thursday. And finally today got to see a dentist, so I'm on amoxicillin, but I still need a little bit of single malt on it to keep the pain away. So we've got 2 thumbs up. I don't know if chat has started yet. If anyone's there, say hello, so we know you're alive. We're normally about, I think, probably the same as yours, Simon. This is about a 15-second delay, I think.
Right.
Here we go. Welcome, Chris Robertson.
Good evening, Chris.
So we'll give people a chance to join us in chat, I think, and then and Daniel, evening Daniel. Daniel is one of my 2 spanners. I only have 2, Simon. I'm not like a lot of these shows where nearly all the comments are spanners.
do you actually use spanners? Oh, you're talking about in chat. You're not talking about your day job. Your day job, you usually use big hammers, don't you?
Big hammers, yeah. No, we'd use we don't. We like to think we'd never need to use our spanner in chat, but we had one last week. That was all. But it's a good show last week. I don't know if you managed to catch it. You've been really busy, haven't you?
I didn't. I missed it. So sorry. I'm trying to.
What are you doing,
I'm trying to wick up an RDA and get some juice on it and everything else, and I'm failing miserably. So no, I've been working for my current client for a long time, and they put me into an interim management role a few weeks ago. So my life is just taken up with management as well as making coilies and doing stuff on the Facebook page on an evening in the Facebook group. So yes, very very busy. So I'm literally hardly seeing any videos at all.
And you've still had time to join me on my show, which I really appreciate.
That was the most important thing, Mark. Yeah. No, it was. I would do anything for you, Mark.
1 or 2 people join us in chat. Lynn, welcome, Lynn. Lynn Smith. Lynn's been poorly. He's had a bad, I think it was a virus, but I think there's been a lot of that about. I had man flu a little while back, and it's been a bit of a year for it, Simon. I've had a bad back, man flu, now toothache, and a spot on the forehead.
So far, touch wood, I've avoided flu and colds and everything else. That's just done it now. That's put the kiss of death on it. But
well, I'm waiting for this year to get started in peak of health. Laurie, good evening, Laurie. Laurie's from Kenya, all the way from Kenya. Yeah, a good customer of mine, Laurie. She's been buying off me for some years. And Daniel I've said hello to, and Jay Jarry, evening Jay Jarry, and I think that's it. That's duplicates. So why don't you tell us, Simon, what you're vaping on?
When I finished.
When you're finished. Well, shall we say it in mid-flow, or do you want to finish the article?
I'm sorted. I'm ready, I think, and I'm dropping things on the floor.
Or would you rather?
Totally unprepared. Right, so. I need to fill this up as well. I'm vaping on my gold and black G-Class. On top of there, I've got the Coily V2, which I just put on this morning, so I've been vaping
it's very
on the...
blingy, Simon. You got your gold chain, your gold... Yeah. Oh, dear.
But I've been vaping on the Zeus X for the last week. I'm absolutely loving that, but the juice that I was... I'm real pedantic about me. Pedantic, is that the right word? I'm real fussy anyway about my juices. I don't normally sort of run lots of different juices through the same tank. I need to give it a good clean and a re-whip before I put another juice in it. So I thought I'd just have a change this morning.
Right.
Evening, Mr. Mark, TVP. And in that, I'm really into this. So on our show a couple of weeks ago, Aidan mentioned this Moorish puff.
Yeah, I saw him mention that.
Yeah, and when he was telling me the flavours, I thought, oh, I need to try some of those. And I'm a big Just Jam fanatic. I absolutely love Just Jam, and that's my favourite liquid. But these are taking over from that.
Oh, really?
So this one that's in the Coily V2 is the oatmeal and raisin. So I don't know if you've been to the supermarket and you buy the oatmeal and raisin cookies. Sainsbury's do them and Morrison's do them, but they're a really nice cookie. It's that flavour, and it is just exactly that flavour. It's absolutely spot on.
Because you've got a very sweet tooth, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I like a very, very sweet vape. So, but that I'm really impressed with so far. I'm also on the Topside Dual, which I believe came from you, Mr. Mark.
I think it did. I don't think the thing on top of it did.
No, the thing on top didn't. That's the Drop Dead, the black Drop Dead, and another Moorish puff. I'm very tonight. Was it they say tonight? I'm mostly doing Moorish puff. This is peanut butter popcorn, which again is really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. I am also on, which we talked about today, the Lost Vape Orion Q.
Yeah, you touched on that today. That's the lesser expensive of the two, isn't it?
It is, yeah. About 30-ish quid. But the vape on that, I just absolutely love it. There's nothing fancy. There's no adjustments on it. It's you put your pod in, you put your liquid in, vape it, and it just it's default. It just vapes. Absolutely fantastic.
Always reminds me of what was that? Was that a Remington shaver? They're a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit little.
They look nice and they look like a dictaphone type of thing, isn't it? Like an old dictaphone.
Yeah. It's a bit small. It's a bit of a lady shave, I would say, if it was like a shaver.
Fair enough.
But as I said, default, you just put everything in, vape it, and it's brilliant.
Right.
The flavour's good. And in that, the only thing I tend to really vape is the Dinner Lady Nick Salt's lemon tart. I like that, and I like the Elements. Is it freshly squeezed? They do a freshly squeezed Nick Salt as well.
Yeah.
And what I was actually building while we were talking was my 25mm brass Kennedy.
I saw that you got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got two mechs that I'm using at the minute. I've got this one, which is the Trinity Glass mech, which is the one that takes the 18650 2700. I think it takes 21700, but I still prefer the 18650s.
Right.
Sony VTC 5s in it, and it's great. And then the other brass mech that I'm vaping on is my I've forgotten the name now. Claymore. Yeah,
that's
Claymore.
it. Yeah, I think I heard you discuss that as well. So you've gone a bit mech. Daniel, by the way, has put it on the screen, which you can't see, Simon, I don't think, but he's saying he loves his personalised Coily, and many thanks.
That's great, Daniel. Thank you very much indeed. I do remember making that for you. So, but no, more than welcome. Thank you.
So go on.
So I've that mech. I have the 25mm Kennedy on the Trinity Glass mech, and I have the 24mm Kennedy on the Claymore, and I swap between the Claymore and the Trinity Glass. And I've never been a massive mech fan, but that since I started using these two, I think what got me back into mechs was the Dreamer. It was a cheap mech, but it did the job for me. I had the copper one. I think there's a few issues with the stainless one.
I've always said that things taste different through a mech than they do through a regulator, in a good way, for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd maybe... So when I first started using mechs, I was doing straightforward round wire builds, just standard round wire builds, NI80 builds, and I wasn't that. For me, then mechs were all about blowing clouds and things like that. And it wasn't until I sort of got a decent, like I said, the Dreamer, which it wasn't expensive, but it was just great. And I can't remember what I put on. I think I had the Dead Rabbit with the challenge cap on top of it, and just absolutely loved it.
Right.
So really, really, really nice. So I don't use them all the time because it's too inconvenient when I'm driving, but when I'm working, when I'm on the shows and I can relax, I enjoy using them.
Excellent. We've just had another visitor in chat. Evening, Salford Vapor and Mark.
Good evening, Salford.
And there's a question from Rainwalker. No, we'll do one vaping in a minute. In fact, we'll blend it in. How long will the Trues stay in production? The honest answer is I don't know. I guess that depends on sales. I mean, how long will we have them in stock? Well, I think I've sold knocking towards 700 of the True Tanks, and that still leaves me personally with about 300 because I ordered 1,000. So we're still alright for a fair while yet. And obviously sales have slowed. They, when a new tank comes out, they peak and then it slows off. But it's with the True Tank, it's actually been quite consistent, Simon, which is nice. And we're sending a lot to Germany at the moment. So obviously there's some talk in Germany, I would have said, about the little True Tank. So I hope this answered your question. I can't tell you how long EH Pro will produce it. I guess they would need a run of probably 4,000, 5,000, I would have said, to do, and they'd have to know that there was enough demand for that batch. But I'll have to ask them actually how many they've got still in stock. So that's a good question. Thanks for that.
I think. Do you not think that? Sorry, just to butt in. Do you not think that mouth to lung tanks tend to have a bit more longevity than your sort of standard sub-am tanks, because they're a bit more specialist? There's not as many of them, and once people get a nice mouth to lung tank that they like, unless like me, I buy 2 or 3 of them.
Well, I was going to say, Simon, I'm a little bit like you. If I find something I really like, I will buy another one just to have in the drawer. And very often that never even gets opened.
No. I've still got tanks up there that are sealed. They've never been opened again, but they're there just in case.
Yeah, it makes me feel good that they are there if I want one, or if I drop it, lose it, have it stolen, whatever. But so getting to what I'm vaping on, well, let's start with the True Tank. That's always fairly near me. The I've still got the. I'm using the K-Fun there. I've got that on the wood. That's a mech mod, Simon.
I love that. That's really nice.
That's my little woodpecker mech mod. That's good, though, everyone. Can you hear that whistle? Still whistling.
Do it again.
Microphone, hang on. Don't look down my ear.
Yeah, it's got strange
noise, isn't it? And I did a review on it. I tried to keep the review fair, and I nearly said, and Mark, if you're still in chat, you'll like this one. I nearly said I was keeping it real, and then I thought, oh no, I can't say that. I was trying to find another word, but I was trying to keep it realistic, shall we say, and and sincere. So
I've just never. I don't know what you were saying before. I've had 2 or 3 K-Funs, and I've just never. There's no two ways about it. The ones that I've had are really good quality tanks in terms of build and everything else, but I've just never got on with them. Never got on with them.
I think you either like them or don't. They've never been a tank that you can buy, chuck the coil in, wick it, close the top, fill it with juice and go out, because they're just not like that. You get a different experience almost. Every time you put a wick and a coil in, we think, oh, this one's good. And then, you're... I think I said the old version 2.1. I used to think, oh, life doesn't get any better than this. And then you'd unscrew the top to fill it up, and it just leaked juice everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that's half the charm, in a way, of the K-Fun. They aren't easy in some respect. Although that one, I have to say, to coil and wick, is a doddle. But so, what else am I on? Well, this is one that I'm very excited about. This is the new, I've been banging on about this for a couple of weeks. That's the new Gate RTA by Ambition Mods. That's a mouth to lung, Simon. You've got...
It's a nice looking tank, isn't it?
It is, and do you know what? It's a belter. Absolute belter, yeah, it really is. I'll hold that close to the camera. It's got, where are we? Little dots one side, and let me open the airflow the other side. In fact, let me have a vape with the dots. So I have it on, there's 3. I have it on 2, right in the middle. That's a nice vape. And turn it to the other side without unscrewing the mod would be good. And then you've got a slit. So for the people that say, no, I like a more open draw, mouth to lung. There it is. So I think this is going to cater for so many people, it's hard to get an airflow right for everyone on a mouth to lung, but I really do think this one is getting there, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
What's the deck like on it?
The deck is quite straightforward, although the posts are quite high, and it's like a hex screw deck. But when you lay your coil either side, with your legs up here and your coil down, that coil sits exactly where you want it. So you don't have to pull it up, push it down, nothing. So you just tighten the two tops. I will be doing a review for it, but and there's also a natty. Let me show you this. Oh, good! I'm glad Kieran's in. He sent me a Twitter, which I haven't, or a tweet, which I haven't replied to. He couldn't understand what I meant with the. There's a changeable airflow. Not only have you got the airflow on the side, but you can also change the 510. So let me hold that in camera shot. This is their little screw. So you undo the 510 of the tank. Try not to make this too laborious. This is the slightly bigger tank. This is the 3.5mm one. They do them in two sizes. And in the top there's a little screw which is like a jet, and you can change that jet. Get the right one. There you go, and just put this Allen key in and change the jet. So if you want it tighter still, you can change that jet. I guess you could probably take it right out as well, but I haven't tried that.
It's like the old days of carburettors, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit. Yeah, it is a bit. But how clever is that? So you haven't got to change your coil. You haven't got to take the coil out and take one, and change the airflow that way. You can leave everything in the tank and just unscrew the bottom.
That's really good. Really clever.
And a size comparison, it's not that much bigger than the 2mm, the 3.5.
No.
So hopefully I was holding that up in the right place.
The 2mm got that same feature on it.
Yeah, exactly the same. They're identical in every way, apart from the 3.5mm is slightly taller. And also there's a juice flow at the top underneath that drip tip as well. Bit like what was that tank that had that? The Skyline? Was it the Skyline does that?
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but that's got a juice flow at the top as well. And filling it, you take I could do it on that one. Let me show you on this one. Just in case. So there's a ring at the top here. Top flow. See, it is possible to have a mounted line with top airflow, top fill, and then you just fill it up in the top.
Good big fill ports as well.
Yeah, good big fill ports, and then just push that down on top, and keep it on there, going out of camera shot with your little threaded ring.
See, if that was on a sub-ohm tank, that would annoy me. But because it's on a mouth-to-lung tank,
but you fill that up once a day.
That's it, exactly.
So it's not quite so bad. But I'll be doing a proper review on that. But also a bit of good news, I can tell you that I've got the sole distributorship for these in the UK. So for the Gate RTA as well. So hopefully,
when are they coming into stock?
I've got some. I haven't got many, but there's an awful lot on order because, as you can imagine, you don't get an arrangement like that by buying 30. So there's quite a lot to come. So let me just try and catch up. There's an awful lot going on in chat here that I've missed. Good God, I've got to scroll back.
That's usually my trick.
Oh my word! Scroll back. Stephen Hillier, evening Stephen. Lee Davis, evening Lee. Curly Chew, evening. What does that say? Right, I want it as my first mouth-to-lung RTA, unemployed and pinching pennies. Oh, right, okay. Hi Mark, how's the juice you're planning on selling? Right, okay, that's Stephen Hillier. I'm going to leave that on the screen, Stephen, and come back to that. Salford, any news about the stocking ambition? Well, I think I've just explained that, David, and I do need your address. Can you email me? I think you've bought the True Tank off me, so I'm sure I could find it. But can you please, Dave, just send me an email? And
console for Get a Grip. Just stop messing about.
And I
think he lax with stuff like this, isn't he? He's terribly slow.
I think he paid for the True Tank, and I felt awful about that. So I'm going to make up for it and give him one of these.
He complains like hell about me because he says I always give him grief.
Oh, really?
So while he's in chat, I'm still going to give him grief.
He can't answer back.
Never mean it. I love him to bits, but I just have to give him grief just for the sake of it.
That sounds good to me. I'm not too bad on chat. A lot of this is people saying hello to each other. Coily UK, evening Coily UK. Kieran I've obviously said hello to. And Curly Chew.
Tina Francis.
Yeah. So I think this is Kieran just saying that he understands now it's under the court. I just had such a day. I didn't get a chance to reply to your Twitter message, so sorry about that, Kieran. Yeah, and great idea. Leave the building, don't change it. It was the skyline. I was right. I got one right, Simon. I've got
You're always right, Mark.
I've got a terrible memory. I'm often wrong.
And then when you're not right, refer to rule 1.
Oh, what's that then?
5. Right. Well, it's the 2 rules, isn't it, of the wife? It's rule 1 is the wife is always right. Rule 2 is if the wife is wrong, refer back to rule 1.
No. Rainwalker, I've got a Coily V2, been using it exclusively for 2 weeks now. My 510 pin keeps loosening, just enough to leak every 2 to 3 days. Love it, but the pins drive me nuts. Yeah, I have heard the Coily 2 has got leak, but I'm not sure it's that I've heard about that was the issue. So I haven't got one. I don't know if did you have one, Simon?
Coily V2.
Yeah,
that one there. That I showed you
sorry.
2 minutes
Yeah.
It's
I was too busy taking the mickey about all the gold.
I honestly have never had an issue with it. You get a bit of condensation.
Evening, Tina. I've said hello to Tina. She always moans I don't say
hello. I tightened up my 510 as soon as I got it. That was the first thing that I did, the 510 pin, because it wasn't particularly tight when I got it, so I tightened that up. But the thing that I found, the Coily V1, you had to be fairly sort of relaxed with the wicking heights. You have to ram this one tight with cotton. But honestly, I've never had a leak at all.
Right.
So
I know some people have.
But I know, because they had the same thing with the V1, didn't they? They had a batch that were faulty and a batch that were all right. Everybody had the same thing. Yeah, now mine's all right, and there was a whole load of people had problems with theirs. But like I said, I've not had an issue at all. Whether I sort of was in the first batch, I think I was fairly quick to order it. I had it on pre-order.
That's unlike you, Simon.
No. I'm very, very restrained in my vape spending.
I've noticed you calm down a bit. Question I'll put on the screen. Stephen Hillier. Hi Mark, how's the juice line you're planning on selling on your site coming along? Any news? There is, Stephen. Big news. I'll tell you who the company was. I mentioned. I don't know if you've been following this. Have you, Simon?
I haven't. No.
Right. Basically, just a bit of a backstory to you is that the short fill e-liquids like you've got tonight, donking a nick shot in the top to make 3 milligram is quite straightforward, isn't it? But a lot of my customers are mouth to lung vapors, or a good percentage of them are. So we were trying to come up with a way to make, to have concentrates to do our own juices for mouth to lung tanks predominantly, but obviously concentrates would also do 3 milligram. I contacted Nom Noms, a company called Nom Noms. I tried their flavours and they're very good, but I didn't get. It's one of those things where we agreed that I was going to buy them. I said, send me an invoice, I'll pay you, you can post them, and I didn't hear for ages. But I think that might have been a stock problem. So, I'm not about to sit here and knock Nom Noms because their concentrates are very good. So. I've also got a little bit of a good rapport with another vaping company called Jack Rabbit Vapes, as you might well know, Simon. You've seen I stock their juice, and it's great juice. And he wanted to get into the concentrate side, but found it was, it's not something they do currently, and it's not perhaps a massive, or they don't know if it's going to be massive for them, a good market. So they've kindly agreed to make some flavours for me, blended flavours to have, which will probably cost them money initially to do it, because it's all new, and it'll be great for us because they're a great. I think e-liquid company. The flavours are superb.
Yeah, no,
and I thought it'd be good. And they have sent me. There's going to be 3. We're going to do 3, and actually, all in chat. If you've got a preference to these, and I'd like to hear your view as well, Simon, I'm going to read the flavours, and I'll tell you what they are and see if any really appeal.
Okay.
There's papaya, peach and mango, which is similar to one actually that Nom Noms does, but I can tell you tastes completely different, and I've got that in here. I've had a sneaky go on this because it's quite young and fresh, but a fruit you can't you? And that's
Yeah.
That I think in the summer is going to be really nice. Strawberry custard and rhubarb custard. A blackjack and a Vinto and a grape soda.
See, for me, it'd be the grape soda. I'm a bit wary of strawberries because there's not too many strawberries that I really get on with.
Yeah.
The first one you said, the papaya, was it papaya, peach and whatever?
Mango.
And and it was rhubarb and custard without a doubt, and the grape soda. I'm a big grape fan.
Yeah.
Really like grape juices.
That's the rhubarb one smells lovely, I have to say. I had a little taste test of that, and I think that'll be. But custard has got to sit there for 2 or 3 weeks before I'll get a true reflection. No pun intended with true there. Reflection of what it's going to be like. So
just going off on a bit of a tangent, because I have to say this now, because if I say it later on, it'll be out of context. You're talking about rhubarb and custard. Have you ever tried rhubarb and custard trifles from Morrison's?
No.
Try one.
Of all the questions you were going to
try one. They are. I tried one, and the reason I'm saying is I tried one last night for the first time. They are so nice. They sound awful, but they are lovely.
Well, I think Tina's in chat. Let's hope not. She does the online shopping, so maybe she'll try some.
Morrison's rhubarb and custard trifles.
What is it talking about Tina in chat that I messed up? I messed up last week and I can't remember what I said now. I said I can't remember what it was, but let's scroll back again. I'm terrible with it. How do you do chat, Simon? I'm awful at it.
I'm horrendous at it. I'm renowned on our show for being useless in chat.
Oh yeah.
And I'm terrified I always offend somebody because I don't say hello. So if I haven't said hello to you, it's not that I've ignored it. It's just that I'm rubbish at reading chat. and I don't like to interrupt either when people are talking. I don't like, because I see people say hello. I don't want to say hello. I don't want to interrupt you.
It's difficult, isn't it? Question from Laurie. Okay, Mark, this is a biggie, isn't it? So how does the gate compare to the true? How do I answer that? My trouble is, Simon, I don't lie. So, it's nowhere near as good as the true. I'm going to be quite honest. I think this may well be an improvement on the true. I'm going to say it. There, that's come out of my own mouth, and that was hard to say because, and I'm still going to like the True Tank. I'm still going to use it, love it, and I'm sure a lot of other people will too. And they are different. They're not, put them side by side. Where's my camera? The True Tank is a dinky little short thing, so that it's shorter, and they're different. But I do think. For what this has packed into it and how it's designed, it is very, very good. So thanks for that, Laurie. How do you stick your fingers up, Simon, without actually doing
it? So bearing in mind, I bought my True Tank from you. Can I trade my True Tank in?
No, there are no trade-ins. There are no trade-ins.
No part exchange.
But that's the honest answer, and I say it how it is. And I do really rate this tank. It's probably the best mouth to lung tank I've ever tried. So there you go. That one.
Trouble is, I don't order one though.
That one took me back. Well, actually, Simon, I'm on your show tomorrow night, and I thought it'd be quite nice if you had one to use on the show with me. So you may well find that you've got a very smiley postman in the morning.
Oh, what a man you are!
So, and I hate wrecking surprises, and that's but because I know you like a surprise. But
I will make sure if it arrives, I shall make sure it's built for tomorrow night. I promise.
Without fail. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Salford's asking if you're going to stock the Spiral MTL RDA.
Yes, I think I am, Dave. Yeah, I think I've got a sample. It's not actually in front of me, and I haven't put a coil in it yet. I've been so sort of I've had other things, toothache and God knows what, but this was my priority in getting it on the website, getting everything, getting the samples out, because they've gone to quite a few YouTube reviewers actually, the samples of these. But yeah, the Spiral, I know you love the Spiral, and I can't wait to test it either. That's a little 18mm dripper, mouth to lung dripper, Simon.
Right.
So yeah, looking forward to that. So all I keep saying is Laurie's question about how does it compare to the trail. That's going to haunt me. That's going to stay with me. Savas, good evening. Do you pronounce it Savas? Savas, I would take it you do. Evening to you. Right, there's just a bit of a tip about that Coily, and I have to learn to do this chat typing. I have to learn how to do this chat typing. Laurie, I don't know what you mean. Are you going to do your own? Laurie's in Kenya with works for like a Amara Conservation, I think is the company.
Oh, right.
And they raise money to save predominantly elephants, I think, and protect elephants. So whether Laurie's going to make her own YouTube channel to do that, I don't know, but I think she should.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're talking about your tooth, you've been talking about toothache. Two questions actually. Did you speak to your dentist about vaping, and how do you find vaping affects your toothache?
I actually did, and I also said, because he said, I've got the bone goes back and blah blah blah, and I said that's probably all those years of smoking. He said, well, that's not helpful. He said, but to be honest, some different people are different. He said, so even that, he said, yes, it will contribute. But I didn't really talk to him, to be honest with you. There's two things I'm frightened of, mainly. I think horses are one and the dentist is the other. So I just wanted to smile and get out of there as quick as I could. But I was a bit annoyed because Thursday I had this toothache. Couldn't get a dental appointment until Tuesday. On Saturday, I was in so much pain, I phoned up 111, and they said there are no appointments anywhere.
Blimey.
And I said, well, what about going to the hospital then? They said, no, they won't. They'll only give you painkillers. They won't give you like antibiotics to cure the infection. I said, Charles, that's disgraceful. I said, are we in a third world country? I said, I wouldn't treat an animal like this. If I wanted my dog treated at the vets, he'd be in there this afternoon.
Exactly.
It's mad. So I wrote my MP. I sent him a tweet, which wasn't a very nice one. But
that's it. Victor Meldrew.
It was. It really was. Yeah,
banging on the keyboard.
Yeah, I used the word disgusting. The creme anglais, Laurie, that's come out really well, and I've got it in a tank somewhere, haven't I? Yes, I have. I've got it in the billet box. This is set up with the vape shell for in mouth to lung mode. And it's in there, and yeah, it's come out quite well. Well, very well, I think. Tina has said she blackjack for her, grape soda and Vimto for Jay Jarry. Oh, and Tina wants rip-off custard as well. So I think we know where Tina is. Oh yeah, now Daniel's just teasing me now about my tooth because I've spoken to Daniel a couple of times on the phone. He must be fed up with hearing about my tooth, so he's saying that he suffered with my tooth as well. So, thanks for that, Daniel. Lynn says he likes grape soda. Kieran, is the Vintern grape soda going to have a hint of coolness? At the moment, Kieran, no, and that's a question that I didn't know whether to do, but I guess starting with 3, I think probably just do it as a flavour, and then you can always do like the iced version afterwards. What do you think, Simon? Do you think that would be?
Yeah, I'm not a big Cool-Ladder fan. I used to be when I think probably the novelty thing when the Cool-Ladder juices first came out. I vaped a few and sort of enjoyed them, but they sort of tend to make me cough. They get the back of my throat a bit too much. So I've sort of gone off them a bit, and I prefer not to have them now. But I was quite intrigued by the that Moorish Puff, the raspberry sherbet. I don't think that has Cool-Ladder, but I don't know how they get that sort of fizzy sherbet effect.
I did know the answer to that, and I
It's
can't
very
remember.
nice.
It's same as lemonade, isn't it? They get the same fizz with the pink lemonade. Yeah, I can't. Perhaps someone in chat will know. They seem well informed.
I really enjoyed that, but I'm not a big cool vapes fan. I prefer it warmer.
I didn't actually finish what I was vaping, but it doesn't matter. We'll do bits as we go along. Stephen Hillier has said that any news on the bubble glass for the Zeus X? They're on the way, Stephen. I've sent them a message to try and get the tracking number, but they didn't get back to me last night. But I'm still using the Zeus X, and I think it's a terrific tank. I've got it on the Wild Wolf, which I think it fits quite well on there. Not quite like the vapor I got from my mouth to lung, is it?
I did actually take the bubble glass off my Carlin V2 spot on the Zeus X.
Did you?
So,
yeah, the Carlin 2 bubble glass fits it, doesn't it? And I think so does the earlier Zeus as well. But I've got the genuine ones are coming, so.
I was hunting around because when I got my Zeus X, I think it was Mark TVP that said about it fitting on the old Zeus. Somebody said anyway that the old Zeus bubble glass fits the Zeus X, and I made the fatal mistake of selling my. I don't very often sell stuff, but I had sold my the old Zeus dual coil, so I didn't have the bubble glass, so I had to rob it off my car.
Yeah, and let's put Tina's on check. I know. No, it's not. I love the True tank. She's tried both. She prefers the True tank still. So, thank you.
Salford Vape. Yes, I did get your message on. He's berating me on. He says I can answer you on here, boss. So I've got to be careful.
Oh right. So are you going to forward me his address in, or is he going to do it?
I can send it to you if you want.
Yeah. Okay. As long as
I'll put it on screen. Let everybody see.
Yeah.
That's all right, Salford.
This is his address.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Please don't throw the stones at the windows too hard.
Good evening, MF Vape as well. I saw you say hello earlier on. I didn't get a chance to get a word.
Oh, he's down.
I've
only just caught up to what you were saying earlier. So I think my chat is that. Mike, good evening. Mike, you've also got one coming, wherever it is, but I think you knew. What was it? Laurie? I mean, how does one reply to people in chat? I see, Laurie, I'm with you. If someone said something to you in chat, if you put an @ and then their name, they'll see it. So that's right, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, exactly right. If you're on, I found if you're on Windows, if you put the @ symbol and you start typing, it sort of gives you a pop-up list of all the people that that's sort of like the text that you're typing in. But if I try to do it on my phone, I tried to do it on my phone before, it won't let you do it. It doesn't show the pop-up. So
yeah. So there you go. Hopefully it's answered that. And Daniel has said the True certainly does have the best flavour any mouth to lung tank I've tried so far. Thanks, Daniel. But You haven't tried this yet. That I have to say, flavour-wise, there's very little in it. Very little in it, in my opinion. It's just, it's a bit more gadgety than the True Tank, I guess. And the one criticism, or the main one I heard of, was with the True Tank, the filling at the top. People don't like to see that silicone, and I understand that. So
you need a little plastic cap.
what we need, and if Laurie is actually in chat, and it's Laurie who would love to have a plastic drip tip that fits in here, Simon. And Laurie, you can berate this man, because this man is the man who's supposed to do it.
I'm surprised you've not thought of that before, Mark. I'm really surprised.
And I keep pestering, and I just go, we're on the phone, I go, drip tape? Yeah. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, I've got a clear weekend this weekend. I will do it this weekend.
And that clear weekend stays free for about 10 minutes.
So there you go, Laurie. Berate him.
Yes, honestly, berate.
Actually, I'll give you his address and details, Laurie. Contact him.
Yeah, put my address up on the screen.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Kieran's answered Laurie as well in chat about how to do it. Hi, John Nash. Hi, John. I hope you're feeling better. John tried the freezer and didn't like it. He sent me a message on, I think it was a YouTube message. Didn't like the freezer, and I did say actually at the time, have they succeeded in doing a direct lung as well as a mouth to lung vape off that tank? And I said no, they haven't, which was my opinion. So, and John didn't like it either, but he did buy one off me. We did stock it. It was, it wasn't rubbish, but I didn't use. Did you try that one, Simon?
I didn't. No, it's one
the freezer. I didn't use it for long. I'm going to be honest. It soon got put to one side. So
I still don't get this. I know we've spoken about this before. This concept of creating a mouth to lung tank that does direct to lung as well. It just doesn't. I don't get it. If you're going to do a mouth to lung tank, do what you did and just do a dedicated mouth.
A true one.
Tank. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A true mouth to lung. Yeah, I mean you can't really. Well, I say you can't. You can have a restricted direct lung one, and I think this would probably be a restricted direct lung one, but very restricted. You couldn't have it impersonate like this. Like the Zeus, could you? It's just
no.
Oh, and this Zeus, you just saw me vape on that. I've got the. Where do you have your airflow sign? Mine's half and half. It's only halfway. Wide open is just so airy. Yeah, you see, you haven't got yours wide open, and normally I would have a direct lung tank pretty much wide open, but this really is airy.
Yeah, I think you to get the flavour out of that, anything over halfway was just too much. It lost too much flavour.
Yeah.
So, but even I don't know. I've got the Coily V2s fully open. Let's try just reducing that down. Actually, that was actually one of the things that I was. I mean, I do like the Coily V2. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as good as I expected it was going to be for flavour.
Which, sorry, I was reading chat. The Coily.
Yeah.
I didn't try. I've sort of fallen out of love with Vandy Vape a little bit. I think they were going down. Huh?
So have I.
Well, they were going a bit down the smock road. I thought they just kept pumping out new, and their stuff is good, but they just kept pumping out like a tank a week, didn't they? And I think they'd be better off doing a tank every couple of months, 3 months, and doing a really spot on job with it. That's what I think. I think it was just too much hitting the market too quick.
Yeah, there seem to a lot of the stuff seems to be the same. Not the same, but it's all very samey. The decks are very similar on. I'm trying to think of a couple that I've seen recently, but a lot. The tanks, the decks are very similar. There's not much difference between the two. Yeah, exactly. TVP.
We will. Well, I just read his act comment before that. That's one, really. Yeah, and he's put RIP the True Tank. And True's got a capital T as well, Mark. We shall see, and you've got one coming as well. So let's see what you think of it too. So it'd be interesting to know.
But as I said, they just everything just seemed to be very similar that was coming out. It was.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There seemed to be a lot of V1, V2. I mean, the Pulse went through how many different iterations in a very short space of time. The Pulse RDO.
Jerry, let's put your comment on the screen. He likes extreme ice flavour, Flavour West nice menthol. I guess, if you could always add it, couldn't you, Simon? It's not, mint is, Coulard or whatever. But you only want a tiny, tiny percentage, don't you? I mean, a lot of the juices have got, 1% Coulard?
Yeah,
so you could always... add that yourself, I guess, if you really like. If you liked any particular flavour and thought, but what I really want is a mint edge on this, you could add it. And you could also, what I do as well, which I don't know if anyone else in chat does this, if I've got a cold, I'll buy some, I've got some, so I don't have, but I bought some menthol crystals from the chemist, and I just drop them in the tank. Literally,
really?
Drop them straight in the top and vape it. And I'll tell you what, why put them in a saucepan on a cooker and put a towel over your head when you can just vape menthol crystals straight in? And I'll tell you, it does work. It really works. So there's a top tip for everybody.
I have on my juice shelf somewhere up there. I don't know where it is. I bought some black ice juice from Higgy Sigs a long time ago because we were going to do the black ice challenge at one point. In a Facebook group that I was in, and we never got around to doing it. The group actually sent it out, and they did their own black ice challenge at one point. But that just about takes your head off, does that stuff? I seem to remember Chris Empire Vape doing it on one of his videos. He did the black ice challenge, I think.
Oh, did he?
So it's a really, really strong menthol sort of cool. It's you get brain freeze vaping on it.
Mark has also put a wide open crank the power up. I guess he's talking about the Coily. But when I had Mark on the show, we were talking about he always used to have his coils at about the same as me, about 0.16, 0.17. He's now lowered that down to about 0.1, 0.11. So I guess then you obviously could crank the power up 130 odd watts, but that's my vaping style might well change, but that isn't at the moment as we sit my vaping style. I don't know what coils do you like to put in, Simon, and wattage do you use?
I tend to be around anything sort of between 0.14, 0.18. That's sort of where I'm at. I mean, I'm not a big sort of fan of fancy coils. I tend to have fused Claptons and Aliens and things like that, so nothing particularly fancy, just straightforward things. It's all about flavour for me. So the best and the ones that not obviously promoting your products, but the best ones, the ones that I vape the most are the Nature Vape, the ones that I got from you, which are, you'll be able to probably tell me better than I can. I can't remember what they are.
You like this staggered fused, I think, didn't you? And
yeah. I think those
and the Aliens, I think, is another one that you liked.
Yeah, the staggered one that I thought there was two coils in a tin. I ordered 10 tins before I realised there was 6 in a tin.
I thought you had a plan for him. I thought, why has he ordered so many coils? He's got 60 coils. Why does he want this many?
I thought there was a pair and that was it. But no, they're nice coils, those. Really nice.
Good question here from Nigel Bray. This is aimed at you, Simon. Can you make a billet box plug for condensation? I don't know if you've seen them. Do you understand what he means?
Yeah, I do. And I'm sure I've seen somebody on Facebook. I'm not sure whether it was the guy who does, the ATI stands, the 3D printed ATI stands.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm sure I've seen somebody on Facebook selling those. And they weren't a lot of money. I'm absolutely convinced of it.
Right. There are different ones. I've even seen, I think these were in Canada or America. Right. And let's get my billet box. They went all the way. Oh, I'm not in shot, am I? Where are we? Right, I'll try and do this. They went all the way across, and they had an air hole at the side to marry up with the airflow coming in the side of the billet box, which I thought was quite a good idea. So it almost went like a drain, I suppose, going round a bend. So you could design the perfect one, and the billet box guys they love innovation. So there's a challenge for you, Simon.
Oh, we'll have a chat about that and see.
Yeah.
So that'll be another thing to do.
Should we do that after the drip tip before the true tank goes extinct?
No, we'll do it before the drip tip. it might rejuvenate the life of the true tank if we get it done.
Well, I know the reason Laurie wanted one is that her hair gets caught underneath that little bit. You got the drip tip, then a little metal flange, haven't you? And her hair got caught. Oh God, that's got to sound awful. Her hair got caught underneath.
So just going back in chat, Mark TVP said about get a bottle of WS23, Simon, and add your own. Is WS23, is that like?
I think that is like Coolada. I think
right.
I've heard of this WS20. It sounds a bit like WD-40, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, just let us know, Mark. I think it is a bit like Coolada, but they call it WS23. I think. Add 1 ml to 100 ml per bottle. Perfect cold hit. There you go. So. Hopefully that answers a few questions there as well.
There seemed to be a big thing going back a few months about making it as cold as you can. I got some, is it the Just Jam summer range, something like that? But it was, and Salford will agree with me, so I remember seeing Salford's review of it. It was just so, all you could taste was the Coolada. It was just so cold you couldn't taste the jam, you couldn't taste anything. It was too far.
Right. There was a Bristol Vapor. He's having trouble with the Carlin too as well. Juice on the 510 and under the tank. So I think Mike and Kieran are having their own chat about the virtues of... What tank are they talking about?
I'm just checking Mark Carlin. There is a bit of juice in the Mark Carlin, but I think it's condensation, I think, more than juice.
I think this was the tank that Mike had the other night on his show. It's gold. What was it? Can't remember. But
is this the one that you say Mike? The one that Mike NFA reviewed?
No, he didn't review it. I don't think he has. It was on his Saturday night show that he showed it off, and I just can't remember the name of it. But I think they're talking about that because, obviously. Kieran likes his mouth to lung as well. Billet box plugs where to buy. Yeah, so that's Nigel again.
Yeah, the Littlefoot is. So Mike reviewed the Littlefoot tank. Littlefoot? I just call it Littlefoot.
we're getting our worms in a real muddle tonight, aren't we?
Littlefoot tank.
Tina's off. See you, Tina.
Is that me offended then?
No, it's probably me.
So yeah, I saw is the way I have the Wake dual coil RTA. That in fact, now was it that one? Yes, it was. It was the Wake RTA that was the first tank that got me into the Coily.
Was it?
So yeah. It was that tank because it was the postless deck. So anyway,
right.
But the old Wake RTA I absolutely love. It's quite a tight, restrictive airflow, but it's a really nice tank for flow.
Right. Yeah. So a little bit of background about your Coily then. There's obviously people have watched your show. There might not be so many people here. There might be people that haven't seen you and don't know. For those of you, and I can't believe anyone wouldn't know. What a Coily is. This is the Coily. It's the orange and blue. I find these really handy, Simon, to check the lighting in here to make sure the colours are.
Thanks for that. I find my True Tank really useful for propping the settee up as well. Funny that,
oh dear, that's funny. So a little bit of background, Simon, about the Coily. So you the tank that made you start. Was it 3 prototypes? Vic was helpful to you, wasn't he, in the beginning as well?
Both Mick and it's time to give up, isn't it? Both Vic and Mark TVP were invited to sort of take part and have a look at the sort of very first versions that we did.
Like a test group you had, didn't you?
Yeah, and it went through a few different revisions when we first started it. I think the first I'll grab some in a minute. I don't like moving too far out my chair, but there's some really old coilies that didn't have the notches on the side. It started off where we had a little sort of pin on the side of it, so you could drop it down a postless deck to see how deep it was, and it was really complicated. And it was really a bit sort of weak and not very good. So I just went back to the drawing board, took it right back to basics, keep it simple.
Yeah.
And we decided to go for the postless decks. Decided to use the websites so people could, because it's easy enough to work out the depth of a postless deck. You stick a bit of wire in it, bend the wire, and you can actually put it against the side of the coil. And it was actually someone in the test group that said about putting the notches on the side. I'd never even thought of that. That was the very last revision that got the notches on the side of it.
I like the notches on the side, yeah.
And it was someone else that suggested that. Danny he wrote me in chat, but it was Danny Fletcher that recommended that. And that was sort of what made the difference. And it had an ATI stand on it initially, and we got rid of that because that was just nobody wanted that.
Right.
But yeah, that was how it started.
Because I only got involved, and again a bit of a backstory for everyone. Simon bought the Hero tank. Hero.
Yeah, it was.
Hero.
Yeah, it was a Hero. Yeah.
HIRO, which is actually a cracking little tank, and Simon.
Still got mine up there.
I'll bet you now, if you put a coil in that, you'd say, do you know what? Throughout all these new tanks that have come along, this is still a belter. I bet you would. But someone's just put me a thumbs down.
Does the same thing there, Mark.
I just gave him one.
It's maybe me they've given the thumbs down.
Sorry?
I said it's maybe me they've given the thumbs down.
No, you never know. I wouldn't think so. You're far too nice.
I honestly don't care.
But you bought the Hero, and then you contacted me, didn't you? And said that you bought it, how much you liked it, and you said you'd like to send me a Coily.
Yeah.
And when Simon did, I just thought, why hadn't anyone else thought of this? This is a fantastic idea. And I contacted Simon straight away, and wanted to sell them. Basically, that was why, because I thought this is just such a good idea. But your problem at that stage, Simon, was you were 3D printing all of them, weren't you? And that your printer just couldn't keep up. So Simon and I got together and we got them injection molded, didn't we?
We did.
So that was why that's probably why I'm. If people are wondering why I'm involved, that's why, because that was to get it on the market, and we wanted everyone to have this. I know what motivates Simon, and it's not a money motivation, same as me. We wanted everyone to have a Coily. I think it's just
exactly.
This is what this will help you so much, and that was where it all came from. So there's a little bit of a backstory there. Have I missed anything, Simon?
No. I think it's a valid point. I mean, it was a pleasure to get involved with you. You're such a nice bloke. It was great to work with you. I don't think anybody actually realises the costs of getting a mould made. It's a horrendous amount of money. And the 3D printing, as you say, they used to be sold through the Facebook group when I first started, and they would literally sell out in 5 seconds flat.
Yeah.
The printer tonight is the first night that the printer's not been going for months now. The only time I used to stop it was for shows and things like that. But even I get to the point where I had to still keep it going just to keep up. But yeah, no, the injection molded took the pressure off that.
You were getting up at what time in the morning to change your 3D print?
Ridiculous times, just to because it's 7 hours to print each coily.
Yeah.
So each one takes 7 hours to produce. And then if you've got people wanting custom text, which the majority of people that want 3D printed do want the custom text. So you've got to get all that set up and create the files and then bring them into the software and print it. So it's a big job, and I think the one thing for me and the thing that I hear so often, and TVP is it's this concept that Coily's for beginners.
He can't answer back, Simon. Say what you like.
I made Mark a very special Coily for when I met him at Expo. I took it along with me.
Not for beginners, wasn't it? Was something you said?
Yeah, it was something to that effect. Yeah. But I really want to get away from that. I still have conversations with people that, even vendors that want to buy it, say, yeah, it's great for beginners. No, it absolutely is not for beginners. It helps anybody I've always said it's not a problem solver. There's always, you get a few people on Facebook say, well, it doesn't, it solves a problem that doesn't exist. It was never ever designed to solve a problem. That's not what it's for. It was to help and to make things a bit quicker and to get consistent builds. The other big outcome of it was that it's people with manipulation problems in the hand. They find it useful, so that's been a real bonus, which I never even thought about when I designed it.
Yeah.
But I said it's never ever been designed to be a problem solver. It's there to help. So somebody on I saw somebody comment the other day saying I don't see the point. I'll just cut it. I do it by eye. Well, that's fine. I was tempted at one point. You remember in the olden days? You'll remember, Matt. They had the old. You remember the old drills when you used to have to drill holes?
I remember. Yeah,
the sort of things that you used to get in a kid's toolbox, didn't you?
No, I had them in my handicraft lessons. They didn't trust us with a drill.
So, I used to use one of these, but now I have an electric drill, and if that makes me less of a man, then so be it. I don't give a shit. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot easier, and that's what it's about. So
I use mine all the time, and there are some tanks, like, you don't need one for this, for example, or my True tank, and there are some tanks you just don't need the coiling for. But there are other tanks where, for me, it's invaluable. And the little notches you were talking about, Simon's talking about the the little serrated edge at the top here, to be able to measure the width of the deck of the post. To me, I just think it's genius, because you can measure that. You know how long you want your legs. Just add a 0.5 mil, and for me, you're perfect. You just sat off those posts. That's how it works for me, anyway.
I mean, the thing is, it was designed. I originally did it for poster decks. So and talking about the pricing, when we first looked at the pricing, it was about, if I buy a good set of high quality coils, how much does that cost me? Well, sort of £5-6 maybe for a proper decent set of coils.
Yeah.
And if I can save myself, because that was a problem that I had when I first got the Wake. Was I cut the legs and I cut them too short, and then I was having to faff about and try and lift them up manually and everything else. So for me, it was about, if that one purchase of Coily saves me the cost of wasting a set of coils, that's it. Is paid for itself. It's done its job, and that's why it's priced where it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fantastic. We've got. Thanks for that, Simon. I know you don't always like talking about your the coil, and
I don't know. Once I get started,
I think you should, and I think you should sometimes get on your podium a bit.
Yeah, I don't. I sort of get this thing about people get sick of hearing about it. I'm obviously very passionate about it. I
guarantee you. How many vapors do you think there are in the country? Is it 3 million and something?
Something like that, isn't it?
I guarantee you 2 million probably haven't heard of the Coily.
No. I still get people messaging me, where do I buy one? I still get people that buy it and then say, how do I use it?
Really?
There's obviously the tutorial on the website.
Obviously, you point them towards my review.
Of course, yeah. So yeah, they still don't sort of get the concept of it, and it's like I said, some people they will never get it, but the majority of people that do get it said, I didn't think I wanted one till I got it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it was never ever meant to be a problem solver. It's there to help, and that's it.
Yeah. Question from Spencer. Spencer New. Hi Mark, how does a gate compare to the already wonderful True Tank? And does the gate flavour drop off on the 3.5mm version as it's a bit taller? Thanks. I'm going to be quite honest, Spencer, and tell you that the 3.5mm one sits here in the box. I've set up the 2mm one first. I've got one, Tina's got one, We're vaping different flavours in there. I haven't set up the 3.5mm one yet, but I will. So I can't answer that question. I don't think it will significantly because let's get that out again. It's a good question as well because I think a lot of people will probably prefer the 3.5mm for size. But there's not. Am I in camera shot? Yeah. So there's not that much difference in height, but it's bound to a little bit because it's got further to travel between the chimney, obviously, and your mouth. So, I would say it's bound to a bit, and I will address that and have an answer for you as soon as I can. I didn't do a full strip and clean. Going to do it. Oh, that's probably answering someone else's question. I didn't do a full. I know it's not. It wasn't me, officer. Yeah, a lot of these are. I think that's what I find hard about chat. You have to read what applies to you and not what other people are saying to each other in chat.
Yeah.
And Matt Benson, he was lucky enough to win a Coily on the Facebook group. Love it. So that's nice.
Good.
I think I'm nearly at the bottom. That's good for me. That's great for me. Mike's talking about thumbs down. I've got 2 now. I usually get 1 and now I've got 2. I've got 13 thumbs up. Come on, someone get me off 13. That's unlucky.
I haven't thumbs up it. I need to go and do that then.
There you go, that'll change now. So Rainwalker, Coily is beast for 2+ coil builds. Yeah, and I agree with you, Rainwalker, that for a single coil build it's not so critical that if you can't be that out, but you've got 2 coils together, you want them exactly the same ohms, don't you? So they're working balanced. I think that's what Rainwalker's getting at there.
I think the thing for me, I mean, this sort of deck, the Kennedy, I don't know that's on camera, is it? That dual post thing, that's where it comes in ideal. Things like the Goon as well.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Andre, the coil builder the other day, and he was saying that he just cuts the Goon to R, but it's because he does it so often. But with that, where you've got 2 sets of legs sort of going in the same holes,
yes,
it just makes it so much easier. And I honestly don't know why you would do it any other way. But it's like you said, if you had a tank where it just doesn't need it. If you have a single coil, the majority of single coil latties you don't need it for. You can put it in, you can snip the legs.
Yeah.
Where it does come into its own is where you've got a very tight limit on space between where you cut the legs and the outside of the atty. If you'd like it to get short, that's where it comes in useful. But other than that,
I think sometimes as well, and Daniel's just brought up, the Coily is by far the best vaping accessory I've purchased, hands down. And Lynn says that she agrees with him. But I think some of the reason that the Coily isn't always used on a YouTube review, and I know it's used on a lot of them, and I'm guilty of this myself, I've done reviews and not used it, is because and I don't really class myself as a reviewer, but for a reviewer, you're working so hard on that camera being close, and whether you've got the coils in shot, whether you've got this in shot, your hands are covering things, to sneak the Coily across the lens sometimes because it is so close. It's like.
That's exactly what you should be doing. I'm using the Coily on my review.
And I never did get my own personalised one, folks, ever. I've never.
Have you not?
No, you never give me one with Mark on it or Nature Vape or anything like that.
I'll sort that out. I've got nothing on the printer at the moment.
Can you do
that sorted out for you?
Can you do the drip tip first, please?
No, priorities, man.
And MF Vape, Coily is great. Used it to measure my airflow slot on the Littlefoot. Couldn't get my calipers in there. Littlefoot. What's the Littlefoot?
It's the one that we were talking about earlier on when we were talking about the Wake RTA, which got us onto the Coily conversation.
I can't think where he means the airflow slot. Measure the airflow slot. Why would you... Mike, explain. Why would you want to measure the airflow slot? Have I missed something? George Power Jr. Hi, George. Let's put it up there. Just had to let you know... Oh, I got the dual topside today, and thanks again. You're welcome, George, in Ireland. Yeah, I remember George ordering that. TVP, who hit you on the forehead? Nobody, Mark, it's a spot. Okay? Thank you. So personal, aren't they? You know, I should have worn a cap tonight, shouldn't I?
I last week on our show, I got some new glasses, and they were all taking the piss out of me with the new glasses. Oops, sorry.
Right.
That's twice. I never swear, and I've sworn twice now tonight.
I bring out the worst in you, Simon.
Yeah, I don't do it.
So they were they were having a
I'll
pop.
show you. There was
I think
various.
I've seen you with these glasses.
There was various. Don't even laugh. Don't even do it.
Would I? There's a joke about that, isn't there? Would I? Oh my word, Simon! Yeah, no, I haven't seen them.
There was various Harry Potter comments flying around the show. So I like them.
Can you see with them on?
Yeah, I can see.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
I can actually see chat as well now.
And thanks, John. John's trying to encourage people to stick a thumbs up, and a few have now. I'm off 13, I'm on 21, so thanks, guys. It's appreciated. Jay Jarry works nice on the goon. Coily, I assume, that he means with that. Used it, yeah, and Mike MF8 said he always makes a point of using it to support Simon. It deserves to be a success.
TVP, that's it. I'm
What's he
offended, mortally wounded now.
Oh, he's having a pop at you now, is he? That's all right. That's took the limelight off me.
Oh, do you know, it started now in chat. They're all at it now in chat.
Are you getting all the Harry Potter comments?
Yeah. Well, not Harry Potter.
Oh, right, yeah, I'll get to them in a minute. Laurie's got to go to sleep. Good night, Laurie. Thanks for popping in, and I'll keep you informed about the juices. MF, take the airflow ring off first. I'm still not with it. What he means? Are you?
With the airflow ring, he's talking about actually measuring the distance on for the coil legs, because he actually trimmed them, so he couldn't get his calipers inside the.
Oh, I see. Right, I'm with you.
So
Sorry,
he
Mike.
was using notches to actually measure the.
It's me being thick.
Distance.
It's me being thick.
Salford, sod off. Right, I'm going to find his address. I'm going to put it up on screen. I think I've got his phone number as well, and his personal email address.
Where's Wally? Yeah, just seen that one. Gary has put a comment. So Simon, put that on the screen. Just for the collectors, how many Coily colours are there, and what does the future hold? That's a very good question, and I would like to know what the future holds as well. Are you asking about a version 2, Gary? And is Simon prepared to talk about it if there is one? There.
So, at the moment, there are in the injection. So there's two versions of Coily. There's the. I was thinking about this the other night. You know, I call it the mass-produced or the injection molded version. I don't like calling it that. So we'll call it the retail version. There's the retail version, of which there's 4 colours. There's orange, blue, purple, green, which Mark's got all to hand. In particular, the purple one.
I've got them all here. The purple one's the best one for checking I've got the colour right on the lights. Yeah, they are. In all their glory. Blue still outsells everything, Simon. Well, you know that.
Yeah, blue does seem to be the most popular. I still print, believe it or not, I still get requests to print blue Coilies, 3D print blue Coilies with Coily on it with no custom text. So that's how popular blue is, yeah.
Right.
In the 3D printed, there are I was looking at Peter Ledbetter, who's a very active member on the Facebook group. He has purchased every colour. and he has also got the limited edition, not for sale one that's only ever gifted to people. And I believe he said he got, was it 17 or 19? I can't remember. But there's various different colours. There's all the same colours: the orange, the blue, the purple. There's a dark gold. There's a yellow gold. There is a turquoise. There's a fluorescent yellow. There's a glow in the dark, but I don't do the glow in the dark yet because I did some for some reviewers and it destroyed my printer because it's quite abrasive.
So Simon can't see what's on the screen.
Sorry?
Carry on, it's okay. This is for our entertainment, Simon. You can't see what I put on the screen, can
you? What else is there? There is...
Yeah, that wrecked the heads of your 3D printer, didn't it?
It did, yeah. There's obviously, there's the white one, there's silver. The silver one is the one that's never sold. I never sell that. That one goes out for giveaways or it goes out to somebody who's done something. I did a couple for Chris Empire Vape's auction for Tony's E6.
Yeah.
So I think there's about 19 different colours. Red is another popular one. And there's a rainbow. There's a pastel rainbow one which I've actually got there. This one's still got the PVA on it. So that's like the pastel rainbow one. So it sort of goes different colours. That one's still got support material on it, but that's the rainbow one. There's the new one which I produced this week, which is they call it Masala. It's supposed to be iridescent, but I can't.
That's nice, isn't it?
I can't really get that. Yeah. So it's quite a nice colour. So lots of different colours. There is a version 2 in the pipeline, and I'm designing it. It's started in the software now, so I started designing it. It was in my head for a long time, but it will be different to the current version. But I'm not going to say what's on it because obviously a lot of people have copied Coily, so I'm not going to give them an insight into
No, and I don't think anyone would expect you to, Simon.
No.
Incidentally, I saw Mark eat my BB in chat earlier, so if you're still watching, Mark, hi. Did you know that I won a Coily the other night on his channel?
Did you?
Yeah.
There you are. Yes, Mark. So I sponsored Mark's channel, and we'll do giveaways and discount codes and things like that. But you've never claimed it, then?
Well, no. I said put it in again because obviously I've got a few, haven't I?
Cheers, Mark.
But the funny thing was, and I'm sure Mark won't mind me saying this because it was amusing, and I'm not belittling Mark in any way. This is just a funnyism, if that's a word. Aidan was on there as well, and what it was I think it was only shown that 6 people were watching.
Right.
But what had happened is it had restreamed, and I think it kicks off the people that are watching and only put on the 6 that have watched sort of after a certain period. So I said to Mark that I think you'll find it's restreamed. So if you get everyone in chat to type X1 and see how many's on there, and he said, yeah, that's a good idea. If anyone's going to Vape Fest, not Vape Fest, the Expo, type X1, and I'd already put X1, and then Aidan did, and I won it. For some reason, it threw his thing into chaos, and it just meant there's only 2 of us in it. There's me and Aidan. so I won it, and then I said, no, put it back in. I've got hundreds, so I don't need another one. And he put it back in, and Aidan won it. So I'm surprised Aidan hadn't told you as well.
Aidan's never claimed it, and Aidan's never said anything either.
Hasn't he?
No.
It was amusing.
And I was only talking to him a couple of hours ago. So
yeah, we'll ask him why I didn't claim it tomorrow night, and I'll mention this at the end. But I'm on Simon's show tomorrow night. Three men and a vape show, and that's
not Simon. Simon's, Aidan's, and
it's
and Salford.
Yeah, there's Salford and Aidan. It's on Aidan's YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Salford just sits there and whinges a lot about stuff. And
well, I thought he was going to get the interrogator's light out the other week when he was talking about the true voltage or something off a.
Oh yeah. It's Salford's the what's the phrase? oh, what do you call it? I don't know, but he's the one
He's
that's.
like little Jack Russell. When he got his teeth in, he wouldn't let go, would he? Oh,
He
dear.
knows. He knows I'm only joking. He's a lovely, lovely guy. He
Of course
really
he
is.
is. Of course he is. Mike's Mech Reviews. Simon, are you able to do logos on the Coily yet?
So I can do logos, but the problem is the space. There's not enough space to. So if somebody's got a fairly detailed logo, there's not enough space to get that logo into the Coily. But the version 2, I'm making sure that there's enough space to get bigger text, bigger words, because even on the words, I'm restricted to sort of eight characters typically. I can sometimes do 10 if they're sort of thinner characters, if you see what I mean. But it's usually 8. Otherwise, it gets too small and you can't read it. So.
And Matt has asked a similar question. Can you do numbering and lettering in a different colour? And
No.
you can't, can you? Because it's one. What do they call the stuff?
So what we have it, and I'll sort of show you. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but on the Coily there's this stuff called support material. So when you're 3D printing, because there's a gap underneath it, if you don't support it, it ends up sort of flopping in the middle. Bowing, yeah. So you have to use this support material. So I have two heads on my printer. One is for the actual the filament, the PLA, which is the plastic part, and the other one is for the support material. That support material, usually you're supposed to take that support material off with water. It melts in water, but I can actually just sort of prise it off.
Yeah,
it comes off. It's just like that. So that's why I can't do 2 colours at the moment, and I can't do it upside down because obviously all the details on the other side as well. But again, that's something that I'm trying to look at to see if I can get around that in future versions.
And is there a way, Simon, that it could be lasered? We sort of touched on that in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, we could. That section at the top could be left solid, and it could actually be lasered out. But again, I don't know whether you'd still get the definition if even too much text. It would still be very, because PLA hasn't got a very high melting point. It's I print at 190 degrees.
Right.
So there's every chance even the laser would probably melt it too much that it would become sort of not clear.
And I know you'd like to do like an aluminium or a cast version at some point.
I am absolutely desperate to do a metal one.
Anyone in chat that can help us with that, get in touch.
I've had a few people. It's just the cost. The cost is horrendous to get a metal one made.
We're happy to pay £2.10, aren't we? No, we know it will be expensive, but if anyone's connected with with machinery.
There's a few people that are sat there waiting to buy a metal one, but it's, as I said, it's finding somebody who can do it at the right price. I mean, I had prices like £100 cost to get one made. That's no way.
But as a special edition in metal, I think that we'd be happy to get 100, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Not at £100 each though.
Not at £100 each, but no, 100 I think would be fine, and a special edition, I'm sure people would like it, and one of 100 out there, that would be something worth having. And Daniel's put a suggestion, maybe a metal bottle opener on the end, Simon.
yeah. I mean, it was like the Atty stand. The original one had the Atty stand on it. I need to try and I can't see where they are. I'll wander in a minute and see if I can find some of the old ones. But it's just, for me, is everything, keep it simple. It's there's sort of been lots of ideas that I've had people give me for sort of the V2 and things like that, and things I should add onto it.
I think that is a solution, keeping it simple. I don't know how many people that have got them. This would be an interesting one. How many people take this lanyard off? Because I know the one that I use on a permanent basis, that's off. I take it off. So yes, it's nice to have it, and if you've got your vaping in a certain area and you want to hang it up and keep it out of the way, that's great. But don't know.
Mike's Mech Reviews.
Is that wood?
That's a wooden one.
Did Mr. Bessie do that for you?
Mr. Bessie made that for me.
That's a good guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I've seen his yellow billet box covers, and they look superb with drip tip to match and button. They look very, very good.
Yeah, Bessie's a really clever guy, really clever bloke,
He
and a
really
really
is.
nice bloke as well.
And what I like about him as well, he shares what he does, doesn't he? You know, it's
Yeah,
not all top secret. He's like,
no,
and even when he fails, it's like, oh well, that's
yeah.
how I did it, but it failed. You know.
And we had him on the show, and he was what's TVP?
Is he?
The
He ain't done like a screenshot of it, has he?
oh god.
Good night, John. John Best.
Thank you, Mark. That's going to be on Facebook, isn't it, tomorrow?
I haven't seen what he's done. I don't look because if I'm not the best with computer, and if I look at something and I crash this lot, that would really be embarrassing. I'd do a mic. But
So what was I saying? What was I saying?
Wood and John and Bessie.
Yeah,
you had him on the show.
We had him on the show, and he is just he's so. I think did he work? I can't remember who you said he'd worked for, but he's worked on some really big, sort of major projects, space projects.
Oh yeah,
I
listened to that show. It was fascinating, wasn't it? It's like military stuff as well, didn't you do?
Yeah, really, really clever bloke. But I mean, it's something because I like. I mean, I sometimes I used to haven't done it so much recently. Used to put the 3D printer printing on camera, on live on either Facebook or YouTube. But I know he does the same thing with his sort of laser etching and things like that, and it's fascinating to watch. It really is.
And two people have said that Gary and Chris Burns, no relation. Well, I don't think Chris is a relation, not to my knowledge. They both leave their lanyards on. And
me, I leave my lanyard. Although I keep taking lanyards off because when I run out, I have to put them on somebody else's coily. So. The ones that I have one in my toolkit with, one in my toolkit without. So,
was the picture very funny or not?
It was very funny. Yes.
Is it worth me trying to get out and show it?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if I can. Oh no, it'll get messy. I'm not going to do that.
Look at it afterwards.
And Matt Benson saying get together with Steve Dilligaff and incorporate into an Atty stand. I think that was discussed at one point, wasn't it?
It is, yeah. It's something that would be really good to try and do. So it's time for me at the minute. It's time, and I've got so many changes that I need to do to the website. So we have the leg lengths page on the website, and I'm trying to find time to get that done because it's the biggest. Complaint's the wrong word, but the biggest thing that people tell me is that the leg lengths. I mean, I think there's 42 pages of web lengths of leg lengths on the website now, and to search through those. And some people put the manufacturer name, some people don't. It's sorted alphabetically, but it's so difficult sometimes to find a leg length. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on.
Yeah.
Stuart says hold that tool up again. He does machining. I'm assuming that he's talking about Coily.
I haven't seen that message. I've got one.
Yeah.
Oh right. Oh, hold it up again. Right.
So I'll give you an all-round view
in all its glory. Christian, what cotton does people use and think is best? Got the Zeus X from Mark. Yeah, Christian did, and Christian has been fantastic. I've seen him on Twitter. He's promoting the Zeus X like better than I have, I think. So thanks for that, Christian. It is appreciated what you've done. And hands down the best thing I've used, and the flavour was amazing. Using the Geek Vape cotton that it came. I think you can do better than the Geek Vape cotton. To be honest, I've got the Vape Fly cotton in mind, which I haven't got any to hand. The Firebolt cotton, and I know, Simon, you like a different one, don't you?
I do, but I do like the Firebolt cotton. I mean, for me, there's some tanks that are notoriously difficult to get wicking right, and the
That's
Firebolt.
The Firebolt, thanks.
Yeah, the Firebolt has never ever let me down. That one just it's really good at wicking. If I said, if I've got it just seems to soak juice up like absolute rattle. So I use that. I use cotton bacon still quite a lot. Ooh.
There's mine, Christian, on the Wild
Wolf. The other one I use, which is really good cotton, but the branding of it is just a bit controversial. But in terms of cotton, the can of cotton is really nice. Is it 80% cotton, 20% hemp, whatever.
I've got to try that. I've never tried it, and
it wicks really nice.
They didn't have to plaster it with all that just to say it had hemp, did they? Really?
No.
You know,
I don't know why they did it, because it just, I was sending some off to a customer in America, bought a Coily, and because I have the coils and the cotton on the website now as sort of complimentary items to order with the Coily. Somebody from America ordered the can of cotton. I thought, because it goes on the customs form as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, is that actually going to get there?
Yeah.
But as I said, in terms of cotton, it's absolutely fantastic. It's just the branding. One that I was surprised by, I ordered some in just to put on the site just to see how it went, and I got some to try myself. And I don't know if you tried it, Mark. Is this shaken vape? And the packaging's looks a bit naff. But
no, I don't think I have tried. No, I haven't tried that one.
It's really, really good.
I've
got it. Yeah, I've got it in the. In fact, that's what I've got in the Coily at the minute. And it wicks like an absolute dream. It's not the same sort of texture as the Fireball or the sort of cotton bacon like that. It sort of comes in like you buy cotton wool sheets. It's one long roll. You sort of cut it off and pull it off. But
ages ago, there was cotton like that actually hairdressers use it. You know, when women get their hair dyed or bleached or something, it's like a tube and they roll it under their. But that's got what's the material? It's not cotton. It's a man-made material, and I can't remember what it is.
I know what you mean. The everybody used to use it, didn't they?
Yeah, it had that in it. I can't remember what it's called now, but along the same lines.
Is it rayon?
Rayon, correct. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Christian's also put after that, but he's re-wicked it with bacon prime, and it's not the same, sadly. I don't personally like cotton bacon prime. That I don't know how you feel, Simon, but I get like a tainted taste from it. So, and I don't like it.
I have a real problem with cotton bacon prime, and I'm absolutely convinced it's cotton bacon prime that did it.
Say it quicker, please.
when I use that, I get like an earache and a sore throat, and just sort of it's around there, and I don't know why.
Really?
But it's whenever I use cotton bacon, and I actually got in touch with whoever makes cotton bacon. I can't remember what it's called now. But I got in touch with them and said, "Is this like a dodgy batch that I've got?" So everyone and I tried it in different tanks. I tried it with different juices because I thought I was vaping on some Just Jam sponge at the time, and I thought it was maybe that that's causing the problem. So I tried it with a different juice, and even that, I just it's like just a pain just under my ears, and like I said, in the back of my throat, and I just can't use it.
Like an allergic reaction.
Don't know what the hell it is.
Mike, let's put mics on because we're talking a lot of wicks now. I use Muji in tanks after a little bit of breaking, and don't think it's any worse than any more expensive cotton. I do use Bacon V2 and RDAs. Haven't tried the Prime or any other cotton really. I use Muji. I'll tell you what I use. The flat squares. I use the Puff cotton, and I really like that. The brand of Puff, PUFF. In all, like in my mouth to lung tank. When you tear one side and tear the other side.
Oh.
And for all my mouth to lung, that's what I use. But for direct lung tanks and drippers, I'll use the Vape Fly normally.
Seen different people using different ways of using the sort of Muji pads, where some people actually take just one side off. I take both sides off all the time, but I've seen some people just take one side. I think it's Bill Richards did a video on how he does the Muji cotton, and he has a real unique way of doing it. It's really interesting to watch. I don't think I've seen him in chat, but it's worthwhile just having a hunt out for that, because he raves about how good it works when he does it like he does it.
Yeah, I've seen variation. I've seen one side only taken off. I've seen neither taken off. I've seen, like tearing it apart slightly after you've taken it off and then rolling it up loosely.
Scottish roll type thing.
Yeah, there's so many different ways, aren't there?
Somebody's just mentioned native wicks platinum. That's all I ever used to use when I first sort of started building native wicks. Was all I ever used at the start. But the only thing I found there's quite a lot of little bobbles in it for some reason, and it just, I don't know. I went off it after a while.
You were miles ahead of me, I assume, when you held it up. That was for Stuart, was it? Hold the tool up, I do CNC machining.
Yes, I saw his message. Yes, he's going to drop me an email. That's very much appreciated. If you could, Stuart, that'd be great.
Right.
No, yeah, there was somebody said about using native wicks. Rainwalker 24C. I tried every brand. Native wick platinum is my go-to. So I also used to use it. I don't use it much now, but I use this fuzz, which is quite nice. I don't know how much there's left in that. There's quite a bit.
That's one I wanted to try as well. The fuzz.
Yeah, that's Yorkshire Vape, I think, isn't it? That produces that. So, but yeah, that's nice. I used to have certain cottons that I used in RDAs. Some that I used in RTAs. That white stuff I quite like in a RDA as well. It doesn't seem to work for me in an RTA, but in RDA it's quite good.
Daniel says he uses my cotton, the Muji sheets, and also Vandy Vapes Muji sheet cotton, individually sealed and fresh. Cotton Bake Prize not hitting. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, the cotton is quite a big part. If you think back, Simon, the early little tanks that we had these silica wicks, and I remember back to the K funds that I was buying these wicks from. I think they came from Russia,
right?
And they were almost like a plaited, flat silica type thing that came on. You came through like a shoelace, I suppose, is the only way to describe it.
Right.
And they were, to me, I never did get on with them. And when we first started to do the little pro coils, that was right in the early days of cotton, organic cotton, and that's where it came from. I searched high and low to find organic cotton wool, and the only ones I could find at the start were the round balls, and they were so much. You had to the round balls are a roll of flat cotton, so you had to find the end and gently unroll it and use them. But yeah, it's quite strange. So I mean, the wicking is a massive part. I mean, we go on about coils. The wick is probably just as important, if not more important, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's probably getting the wicking right on certain atties is really, really difficult. You know, to actually get it right is a skill in its own right.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, he's going to send you an email. And Coily UK, good night. Thanks for popping in. What is the time, Simon? 10 past 10.
10 past 10.
I think it's. Should we go to quarter past?
Yeah, that's fine.
Happy with quarter past. I did promise Simon we wouldn't be long because he's working hard. And I've also got toothache. So I had a little sly sip of my single malt earlier. I think I got away with it.
Yeah, my coffee's just about finished as well. So.
Your coffee's finished. Gosh, I think that's cold, isn't it?
No, I've got it in one of my. What do they call it?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, get a good 3 hours of a cup of coffee out of that.
Yeah, it's one of the posh ones. Native wick. So I'm not that far behind. I think we're near enough. Muji swag for me. Muji swag for me. That's Kieran. I must try swag. I must try more variations. I think in general of cotton, you get stuck in your ways, don't you? And
yeah, I like swag. But it's got, again, it's very similar to cotton break and prime. It's sort of got like a, wiry is the wrong word, but you know, it seems a lot more coarse than the normal cotton.
Right. And I think, I'm near enough to the bottom, and most of that is in chat. And Mark's talking about a contract. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, we've got Mr. 2.50 is asking some strange question.
Right. Okay. Coily flask.
yeah, I've got a Coily glass.
Yes, you have. I was very envious when I saw that.
Ooh. Yeah, you wanted one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that
was specially made for me.
Yeah. Salford, he's back on again at the bottom, busy doing nothing, working the whole day through.
Finding lots of things not to do.
He's having a lot of good pop at you, isn't he?
Yeah, well, don't forget Salford tomorrow night. Revenge will be sweet.
And I shall see you as well tomorrow night. Oh, that'll be me under the lamp. Not too much, though. Show the spot off. Okay, well, I think that's been a great show again. Thanks for coming on, Simon. That's been fantastic.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's nice to have a variation of guests. I had some lovely guests. I had Mike and Mark and.
Then you spoilt it by having me on.
No, not at all. On future guests, I'm going to have there's one or two in the pipeline actually, and I think Vic is going to make an appearance. I have got Vic's new tank, but I've promised him that I won't. Well, I haven't actually promised him. I've just told him that I won't be showing. I'm waiting for Vic to do his sort of announcement with his tank, and I think that's only fair. I don't want to take any limelight for that. So, but that's one of those things that I'm desperate to show everyone, but I can't out of politeness. I can't do it, but it is good. It is good. So he'll be coming on, I think, 1 week. There's one or two people that I've got in the pipes, so it's lovely. And thanks again for everyone in chat for popping in and. And your comments, it keeps the show going. I think it's lovely. It's really nice. I get more views and comments than I expected when I started this. So it's great. Thank you. So Simon, over to you. Would you like to say your goodbyes?
Bye.
Well, that was short and sweet. Chew!
No, thank you so much for having me on as a guest, Mark. Thank you to everybody in chat for all the great questions and keeping things going. We always say, a show isn't a show without everybody in chat, and it's really good to see so many people interacting. Really enjoyed it. It's been a great show, and obviously looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night, Mark.
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It's 2 nights on the trot on YouTube, eh? Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But no, looking forward to it, and yeah,
no excuses about toothache either tomorrow.
Sorry,
I said no excuses about toothache tomorrow.
No, well, I did wonder whether I was going to be all right today, because I thought if they're going to pull this tooth out, I'm going to be sitting there going. But they're going to pull it out next Tuesday, so hopefully I'll still be right. It's Tuesday morning, so I think we'll be fine. I'm going to have to watch that show next Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. It's be like Zippy and Bungle. But yeah. So once again, yeah, thank you, Simon. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on your show. And thanks everyone in chat. That's been great again. And tooth willing, I'll see you all next Tuesday. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.